It's dark, and it is not even that late. It's only early evening. It's getting to that time of year again where it's dark super early, the liners go in, the heater grips go on, and people start questioning your sanity. I get it every year. They were like, oh, aren't you cold? Oh, you must be freezing on that bike. Yes. Yes, I am absolutely freezing. My fingers are frozen, I can't feel them. My body is frozen, I am just a frozen thing. I am but an icicle. Although saying that, I've not been too cold. I've been quite cold recently, so I've actually put the liner back in my jacket. And oh my god, it's made such a difference. I've been trying to wait till like the very last minute to put it in so I can get the full effect of its warmth in winter. Because if you're a winter rider, you need to be prepared for the winter, like fully prepared. Because in the UK, it's cold. It's just always cold. It's always raining, it's always cold. And sometimes it is freezing. And for someone like me who has Raynaud's, that basically means that blood vessels in my hands and my feet sometimes will have spasms and contract. So no blood flow goes to them, which basically means my hands go white and dead. And sometimes they go blue. Sometimes they get bright fluorescent orange patches, and then they go numb and I just can't feel anything. Which is why I love my heated grips, because they really do help me out in the winter. And I've had them for one winter, and oh my god, they were so good. They basically warm up my palms, which keeps my hands warm. And then when my hands are nice and toasty and warm, when they get really toasty, it makes you feel warmer because your hands are warm. Now I know that, I don't know if this is just anyone who has Raynaud's or whether it's just me, but I found that when my hands get super cold and they lose too much circulation, I just feel really ill. But the worst time I ever had it was a few winters ago. I decided to ride into Portsmouth, and it was about a half-hour journey, but no, about a 40-minute journey I had to do, and it was like 1 degree. And I thought, yeah, it's fine. I've been travelling to and from to get to like the uni that I was at the time. I thought that I would make it, and it was an event that I actually made. I planned it and invited my friends to it. I got halfway there and my hands were frozen. At this point I didn't have heated grips, I just had my gloves, which were the ones I was wearing before I got these new ones, which technically are summer gloves, but I prefer them because they're quite thin so you can actually feel the controls. I like to be able to feel controls. Now, it got to the point where I was so cold, I was barely concentrating. I couldn't remember what happened like 5 minutes ago in my journey, and I was thinking, yeah, this is the point, I need to stop. And I felt quite ill, so I decided to stop in like the middle of the high street pretty much. I got off the bike and oh my god, I nearly fainted. I was so cold. All the circulation had gone from my hands, they were numb. My feet were, I don't know, my feet are always cold. I can never tell if they're cold. They basically have no feeling. Like, to me, they feel normal, and then I accidentally touch another part of my body with them, and then it's freezing cold. But to me, my feet never feel cold. But yeah, I nearly fainted. I had to sit down on the pavement. I thought, oh god, what if I faint? What if someone steals my bike or steals all my stuff? And I was really worried because it was like night time. Well, it was dark anyway. I can't remember how late. I don't think it was that late. It was like the evening, but it was really dark. And I was on my own. And I thought, oh god. Luckily, I didn't faint. And I stopped right outside a Chinese, so I thought, screw it. Let's get some hot chips, because that will warm me up. It'll give me something to eat. It'll keep me warm. I can hold on to it. So I ended up buying this portion of chips. And they were boiling. I actually burnt myself. They were so hot I couldn't really eat them. But they did warm me up a little bit. I ended up having to call my granddad because he lives in the city. I managed to ride my bike to his. Ended up getting a lift to the place where we were going to meet everyone. And then I ended up just getting a lift home. So I left my bike at my granddad's and didn't ride it home because at that point it would have been like -1 or -2. And I knew that if I barely made it halfway there, there was no way I was going to make it back in a colder weather. So I thought it's too dangerous. Let's just play the safe cards. And that's the thing you've got to think about in the winter when you ride a motorcycle. Like when you're in a car, everything's nice and toasty. You've got heating. You know, you're surrounded by something you can wrap up really warm. On a bike, you're constantly surrounded by the elements. Even if you wrap up really warm, sometimes you can still get cold because the cold air is going on you and it freezes your fingers. And when your fingers get really cold and they go numb, it's really hard to feel the controls and to work out how far you're letting your clutch out or how much you're braking. So you can end up hurting yourself if you go a bit wrong. and your concentration goes, so it's harder to control the bike and all sorts. It can be quite dangerous. So that's why you always need to be prepared. And also, people think you're insane because you're riding in freezing cold weather. They're like, how are you even surviving? I don't know. I'm just surviving. I'm surviving. It's my only mode of transport that I own, so I just make do. But yeah. And my heated grips, I don't even know how... These are like the best heated grips ever. Like, I'm not even sponsored by these guys or anything, but if you ever want heated grips, I recommend buy the Oxford ones. I've never tried any others, bearing in mind, so this is just my opinion on one pair of heated grips, which I really like, so it's kind of biased. But the thing that I like about them is I left them switched on, right? Left them switched on for 8 hours. And obviously they drained the battery on my bike because they were connected directly to the battery. And I know people are moaning at me for that, but there was a good reason to do it at the time, and I'm just going to leave it that way for now, so whatever. And yeah, obviously they drained the battery. They kind of melted a little bit because they got really hot, but they're still surviving. They still work. I don't know how. They're like half melted, but they still get really hot in hot, and they still get like warm in the low, and they work perfectly fine as they did when I first got them. So they're like amazing. You can destroy them, you can melt them, you can leave them on for 8 hours and they will still work. So they are very hardy grips. They are quite good. I fully recommend them. Oh my god. But yeah, what do you guys do for winter? Do you often ride in the winter? Are you guys more seasonal riders? Let me know. All I can smell is gas. Jesus Christ, we're all going to explode and die. Why not? But they're probably doing some gas thing or something. That's enough that's enough from me for today. I can't even speak now. Have a safe start to the winter, guys. If you're the types of people putting your bikes away, then good night, little bikies. Have a nice little warm and cozy hibernation. All the riders who are not riding in the winter, have fun. We will all envy your warmness that you get every day in your car or whatever. But anyone who's riding in the winter, good luck. It's the start of the coldness now. I think winter is officially started. So start wrapping up warm, planning your journeys, making sure that you know what you're doing, that you're safe, and you stay concentrating throughout the whole ride. And yeah, have fun, enjoy. Enjoy the madness, and rarely ever seeing anyone else out on a bike. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!